I'm Phil. This is my co-host, or possibly co-host. I don't know, I'm still trying to talk him into do it. But for today, he's my co-host in this episode. We're just going to sit here and talk about everything photography, videography, creation, brand development, stuff like this. But, you know, today I really just want to know who you are. Like, where'd you come from? What got you into photography? Like, stuff like your first camera. Can't wait to hear about this because I know what he shoots and he's a diehard user of right now. And he made me recently switch over to the dark side, or shall I say the light side, given the case. But
that's actually not the camera that I brought with me, though.
Which one did you bring with you?
I brought the Fuji.
You did bring the Fuji with you.
I did.
So he's an amazing DP. Anytime I'm doing something or I have any kind of real cinematic DP questions, lens selection, lighting, like he helped me get all this up together today because I was just gonna be like, I turn on the camera, and then he's like, dude, how about we expose for the background? I'm like, I don't have enough lighting for this. But we got what we got, and this is what you're getting. I'm not even sure if this is actually going to make it into video, but the podcast is going to happen. So, everybody, say hello to Michael. Michael, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself, man? Like, where'd you come from?
My mom, originally.
Come on, man. Come on, now let's hear it. So, all right, here we go. This is why I like this guy.
Question.
All right, I dropped my chair in case you were wondering what that noise was in the
Director
background.
Phil, give me more specific question.
Case for a chair.
As a DP would.
Yep. So, where'd you grow up?
Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus, Ohio?
Yeah.
So, your entire life spent in Columbus, Ohio. Where'd you go to school?
Pretty much. Tree of Life. It's a private school.
Okay. Oh, is that like a Christian school?
Yeah.
Okay. Pretty cool childhood?
Yeah.
How many siblings?
I'm the oldest of 6.
You're the oldest of 6? Jesus!
Yeah.
Okay, I know you have
kids,
2. I've never met the others.
6 kids, 9 years, no twins. My mom had a kid like every 18 months. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did your dad want a big family, or did they both want a big family?
I have no idea. There's a lot of us, though.
There are a lot of you. It's
Yeah.
the Marrah clan. By the way, we both go to the same church, and literally there's Marrahs everywhere. Like, they just come out of the woodwork. I mean, there are Marrahs there I didn't even know were related to you.
It's a church of like 30,000 people, and there's like 8 of us.
Yes, I know. They come out of everywhere. No, but there are quite a bit of you that goes there. Have friends with your cousins and such. So,
Oh, yeah, there are those too.
There's that. It's a continuation of the Marrahs.
Yeah.
But so he shoots, and he's shot stuff for the church, and that's how kind of I met him. I met him I'll never forget the first time I met. I was sitting with another local videographer friend of ours.
yeah.
And we were at the Gravity Coffee Shop.
And I had a one wheel.
Yeah, and he had a one wheel, and it was the older one. It was the X. Was it the XR?
No, it was the Plus.
It was the Plus, and he had the battery pack, the extended life battery pack on there.
Which eventually burned my one wheel up.
Are you a vlogger?
Yeah.
I was like,
Are you a YouTuber?
Do you watch Peter McKinnon? I had just gotten my camera and I was really into it, so it was just really interesting. But yeah, that was the first time I met you, and ever since then, we started talking.
Yeah, and then like 3 weeks later, you called me and you were like, "Hey, I have this giant project."
That's right, that Nissan project. Yeah.
Yeah, and we ended up charging 10 times what you were expecting.
Yeah. That's why you bring a DP in, because you could charge more than you thought.
Phil was like, "Hey, they wanted me to do all this work for over the course of 3 months, and I think it'll cost like $3,000." And I was like, "How about 30?"
Yeah. And we nailed it, because you get a good DP on, knows what they're talking about. You get a good crew to work on it, really pitch it and propose it right. You can land the project, especially if you come in like you know what you're talking about. And that's why I asked Mike to come in, because I looked up to him. He's a great DP. He knows the stuff. We nerd out about lens stuff all the time.
That was early COVID too.
That was super early COVID.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Because then I just continued on the rest of COVID with them.
Yeah, because we had to film a broadcast commercial, and they gave us like a 4 days heads up.
That was fun.
And they said yes when I was in Colorado.
Oh, that's right.
So we had 5 days to pull off the entire shoot and about 36 hours to edit.
Remember the Christmas commercial aspirations that we were talking about? Like, yeah, let's go out to Colorado. Let's film a Santa in the snow with a Nissan truck getting pulled and da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's a great idea. And I did you on the show. I was like, dude, are they really going to do this? Like, are they going to really say okay to this? Yeah. And they didn't. But that's okay. We thought it was going to go
well. Let's not have the conversation about how
Nissan, we're not going to say anyway. That wasn't Nissan directly the main manufacturer Nissan. It was a local dealership, but we're not going to mention any names. We're in Columbus.
I'm not going to say nothing.
We're in Columbus, Ohio. Nissan dealership.
They were great.
Yeah, they were great. No, they really did do work with us really well. But so moving on. So you had 6 of you guys.
Yeah. Sorry, as a DP, it's really hard for me to not check the framing that's right out of frame.
Oh, yeah, so here, check this out.
Like, I keep wondering if
it's actually
I'm
in frame. It's on my phone. Guys, by the way, a little plug. This is This is the Monitor Plus app.
It's going to focus on our eyes still. It's not going to focus on your phone.
Oh, this because it's a Sony. It has amazing eye detection focus.
It's not going to focus on your phone.
All right. Well, here, let's try this. Let's cover our faces. This is.
I literally would have to hide for that to work.
This is So the reason he's hiding right now, in case anybody just tuned in, is I'm trying to show my Monitor app. This is a Monitor Plus app. And it's good for Sony cameras, but it doesn't work with the Sony a7 III, but it works with the Sony a7S III, FX3, FX30, the a7 IV, the a7 I, just not the...
A1.
And I keep on, that's like the 5th time I've done that this week, and I shot with him all weekend. We did a haunted house shoot, and he invited me to come out to go do some aerial coverage, and that was a lot of fun, so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
How long have you been shooting that for?
2 or 3 years.
2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
wow.
Haunted house is probably the most difficult.
Talk about that. Tell me the story. Tell us why it's so difficult, guys. He's about to nerd out right now. So listen, you should see. You should see how he walks. You should see how he walks around taking these shots of these people. He has like a light constantly on. He'll run around, and it's great because I'm like, I just look for this light beacon above the crowd. I'm like, there's Mike, and I run up. And it's already a well lit scene, and I'm all doing my thing, and I'm all piggybacking off of his lighting. So tell us about this. You've been shooting this for 3 years. What was
so I've been doing the haunted house stuff for 2 or 3 years. Probably the most difficult environment I've ever shot in, as far as lighting goes, because there's so much haze that you can't see about 5 feet in front of your face.
And when a light does come on, it
almost pitch black.
Up.
There's multicolored strobes, and you're trying to get jump scare reactions, and you don't know when people are going to show up, and trying to get focus on them and trying to light them, and it's so much haze that if you light directly in front of the camera, then all you see is just white haze. So you have to light at least a 45-degree angle to even expose them.
Oof.
And you have to light it in such a way that you can grab focus, get the reaction, and also match your exposure to whatever the flashes are that are going off in the house as well.
Itself, right?
And you have to do it in such a way that none of the guests see you, but they come through at about 30 seconds every scene. So you have to light and position yourself in a way that they don't see you, but also in a way that you can
get the shot and
the shot. But if you're going to position other lights, you have to do it within 30 seconds, because then they come through, and then you have to hide yourself in a corner.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's fun. I've seen some of your photography in these houses.
It's fun. And the first like hour and a half or 2 hours of doing it.
It's just getting.
I didn't get any.
So by the way, if you go to the Fear in Columbus and you want to make sure you get a good picture, wait 2 hours until after it opens, and then go through, because chances are that's when you'll get a good picture of yourself. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so 3 years. Well, he had me come out and do some aerial footage and
fun?
I had a great time.
Yeah.
It was a blast. It was 10 hours of pure screams, chainsaws, metal music. Like I'm running around in pitch black with a flashlight, and I'm not waving it so that I can see, because you can't see. This flashlight, the wall of smoke, it just makes like a big. You're walking through a big cloud and you can't see more than a foot in front of you. So I was just doing it so that people can see me and not come running around the corner and hit me, because I'm sitting there carrying my drones, my camera. So it was an experience, but it was a lot of fun. And you're right, like trying to shoot in a dark.
Yeah. Well, you were outside most of the time.
It was a lot easier for me. I can't imagine with strobes or anything like this, man.
Yeah.
Gosh.
It's hard. Yeah. I'll take 200 gigs of photos and end up with maybe like a 3 to 5% hit rate for usable shots.
Oh my god. Oh, I'm gonna kill myself.
You're not used to sitting on Pelican yet,
I'm not used to sitting on Pelican cases because it just means it's got wheels on one
Pelicans
side.
are my everyday seat.
They're great, my everyday seat, because he really is a DB, guys. Like, so who do you you used to work directly for a company, but then you moved out of that company and started doing freelance, but they still contract hire you in, and that's kind of more of the. Now you're a little more specialized in what you do. You feel a little more.
Yeah, but also I don't know. I end up doing a lot of everything. So I did some nonprofit documentary stuff this last weekend, and then went straight from there to haunted house stuff at night. And then
completely at different ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, right. Flying to San Francisco to.
Tell us about that.
Yeah,
so what's this nonprofit organization that you work for first?
It's called Magical Moments.
What is it?
Magical Moments.
Magical Moments. First off, thank you for what you do. I've seen some of the things and heard some of the stories of what you guys are doing. So. Big props to you guys and what you're doing. So continue.
Yeah, so Magical Moments is basically an organization that grants magical moments for kids with facial differences. And so the kid that they're going to grant their magical moment for next wants to meet Steph Curry and drive in custom decal Lamborghinis and all that. So that's what we're doing this weekend.
In San Francisco.
Yep, flying to San Francisco. I literally bought the ticket for the flight this morning. Have zero details about what's actually going to happen.
You're just going to show up with the cameras.
Leaving in 2 days to fly and film basically just whatever happens to be in front of me.
Now, they take care of the flight and all that for you. You got first class, right?
No.
Will they not let you get first class? Oh, come on, magical moment.
No.
We have a Mike's magical moment. Mike ain't had a magical moment.
No, it was already, I mean, you're getting a ticket to San Francisco with 48-hour notice, so it's
cool.
already...
You didn't have to pay for any of that.
It's already like
magical.
a $700 ticket one way.
Magic Mike. I'm sorry.
Well, welcome to Shoot the Shit Podcast, where
This is the Shoot the Shit Podcast with Phil Hurst and Mike Marrah. Today's podcast, we're going to talk about Mike's past dancing days. Magic Mike in the house, everybody. Magic Mike. Sorry, but we digress, guys. We digress. I could do this all day long. So tell us about your first.
what happened to your feed?
I'm not worried about that. It's
Okay.
still going.
All right.
It's so.
The DP and me can't not make sure that the camera's
that's
still
okay.
rolling.
So
I have
yes,
to.
the app is really good, but it is just a wireless app. So sometimes it has its bugs. So sometimes it'll be nice and smooth, and everything will be really cool. But sometimes, and I'm trying to watch the framing, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna flip over my little 2.5-inch monitor and just film on that because it's direct feed. It still helps a little bit for framing. I can hook it with a iPad. Somebody off camera can be watching and monitoring the scene, and it's great.
You know that the Sony cameras have their own dedicated app that you can do the same thing.
The Edge app, it's crap.
It's better than it used to be.
This is better than the Edge app.
Yeah.
I found this to be better than the Edge app.
Yeah. The Edge app's not as it crashes.
As it crashes.
That was timing for you right there.
But it's still recording. Man, thank God they didn't count. But it comes right back. The feed's still there, but it literally just crashed on me. I mean, look, it's a good, and it's got like cool little things. I could do like false color. I could get my profile or my framing lines. I could do my, my focus, and I could get my parade. Ooh, check out my parade is the favorite. Where is that? That's if you want to throw a LUT on there. That's the coolest part. I like that.
Oh, again, I'm gonna have to hide that.
Oh yeah, here. There.
It's probably gonna get your eyes now.
Whatever, it's working. So, all right. So you're a family of 6 siblings. You've shot for churches. Have you shot music videos or anything like this as well?
Some spoken word music video stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Have you done any commercial and?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Broadcast?
Do a couple of broadcasts.
Okay.
Don't usually specialize in that, but.
Have you thought about shooting your own film yet? Any kind of film aspirations or documentary
really
aspirations? No, you just like DP.
No, I know that most director DPs are like, I want to go do a full feature film, and I don't really have a whole lot of interest in that.
Really?
Yeah.
So do you really just like telling people stories and covering the important things, kind of
Pretty
deal?
much. Yeah.
All right, hey, that's a great aspiration because now that's kind of why I got into videography and filming in the first place, is because I look back at my memory or my childhood, and I went to see my mom, and all of our photos and all of our videos and all this stuff is gone. So I was like, oh, I never want any family or anybody to experience that again. So I'm just going to always keep the camera running. And if anything, it's just for me to help document moments. So to be able to do it as a pure want to give
You're
back
capturing
to
Phil's own magical moments.
Yeah, but you're Magic Mike. Insert Magic Mike music here.
All right, next question.
All right, so what was your first camera that you purchased?
That I purchased personally.
Mm-hmm.
It was either a GX85, Panasonic GX85, or a Panasonic GH5. I'm actually not sure which one came first.
At least it wasn't a Canon.
Well, the first camera that I used personally regularly was a Canon T5i.
But you shoot what now?
Sony A1,
Yeah,
Sony
you do.
A7S III.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, he does.
Fuji XE4,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's
Mamiya
made some-
645 medium format film.
Yeah, we transitions. That transition video, you were out shooting with the medium format that night. That was a fun one.
Yeah, I have some Mamiya 645 medium format film lenses that I speed boosted down to full frame.
All right, so
I love
this guy will call me out of the blue sometimes and be like, dude, I just got a lens. I'm like, oh yeah? He's like, yeah, but it's not what you think. I'm like, oh, here we go. He's MacGyvered some concoctions together for focal lengths and distances between lenses.
I think the most I've ever done is maybe 3 different adapters to get a lens
Talk about
onto
it.
a camera.
So let's show this world how much geeking out as a DP looks like.
Nah, it takes too long.
Because he gets into like the mathematical and the physics and the convergent point of the. Yeah, I'm all like record button. 2019, it was a Canon. So it was a 90D. It shot well. It was a decent camera. It shot 4K 30, 24, or 1080, and
It was fine.
It was a great camera.
Yeah.
I loved it. But he started saying, Phil, why don't you shoot Sony? I was like, because I got all this awesome Canon glass.
Well, it's that you tried to do a bunch of low light stuff with a 90D and a kit lens.
It's Swiss
so
cheese.
you were shooting
Swiss cheese. It's for
APS-C sensor.
APS-C
at,
is with an f4. Yeah.
f4.5.
I didn't know what I was doing. Had no clue what I was doing. I just wanted a camera because I wanted to start vlogging because I watched Casey Neistat for about a month and I'm like, oh, I just want to walk around with a camera and vlog. So I got that camera, made my first vlogs for about 10 days and then, met
Now your phone has more dynamic range than your 90D would have.
Yes, it definitely does. And that's when I was like, okay, I need to get a new camera. And, he's been saying, get the A7.
And now you have?
And now I have my Sony A7 IV. And I love it. It's actually a really great hybrid camera because I wanted the A7S III. He's like, Phil, but do you really need the A7S III? He's like, with as much as you're also shooting photos and as much as I've seen you crop in some things, I know you could actually use that bigger sensor and the more pixels. And I know with how you're shooting, you're also going to shoot low light and this, that, and the other. Get the Sony A7 IV. You don't need this. And I'm shooting this on a Sony A7 IV. And I've rigged it. It's got a pretty decent rig on it, and I think it shoots great. All my footage has been great. The only thing I don't like on it is the crop in 60 at 4K.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I don't like, so I got to do the whole mathematical equation for my lenses. And
It's just a times 1.5.
I know, but that's math still.
Weren't you like an architect before this?
Yeah. But we have programs that do all that math in the background for us. I'm just connecting dots, bro, moving lines and walls around and stuff. I'm like, oh, that looks good. Oh, wait, I need to nudge it 1/16 of an inch because it's off. Done. Done. That measurement, I must have it attached to the drywall, not the studs. I'm nerding out on you guys. All right, moving forward, we digress. So we've talked about your family. We've talked about where you went to school. Where'd you go? Did you go to college anywhere?
Yeah, so finished up at Ohio State.
Okay.
The Ohio State University.
Oh, God. How are you going to copyright the most popular...
I'm actually not a fan of that.
Me neither. Anyways, continue.
Yeah.
So you went to Ohio State.
My degree is in education.
Okay.
Yep. So did that for a little bit, and then got into this.
What did you want to do? What were you thinking you were going to do with that?
Well, I taught part-time for a while. At one point,
I did not know that.
At one point, I had one full-time job and 3 part-time jobs at the same time.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I did that for like 2 years, and one of my part-time jobs was photo video.
Okay.
Freelance and web design, graphic design, all that kind of stuff.
You do web design too?
Used to.
Basically,
I got to the point where I realized I'm not good at this.
That's a good realization
And then
to have
stopped
early
doing
on
it.
in that career. Okay.
I got to the point where I was like, I know how to do this, and I'm not good at it, so I'm not going to.
That's funny. That's a good realization. Okay. So you went full-blown into cameras.
Yep. So
And
that's
now
when I
you've been
went
full-blown.
and worked for the production company full-time.
GP.
Yep.
Okay.
Did that for a couple of years.
And what does GP stand for?
Grace and Peace.
Grace and Peace.
So it's now GP Creative.
GP Creative, Grace and Peace Creative. And how did you fall into this company?
I met the owner on a rooftop once.
On a roof? All right. There's a story. Please do tell. Because you can't just say I met him on a rooftop because it's not very often 2 people are just chilling on a rooftop.
That's what happened.
Was it a rooftop bar?
No.
Talk to me.
It was a rooftop in the middle of the night. And
so it's not like you guys were like working for a roofing company in the middle of the day putting shingles on.
no, it was like 10 p.m.
Okay, talk to me. Explain. Yeah, I have so many questions right now in my head. All right, so explain.
We met on a rooftop, and then at some point in our 5-minute conversation on the rooftop, decided that we should get lunch, and did.
Why?
And then,
Hold on. Why were you both on the rooftop, people? I'm sure you guys are wondering the same thing. Hold on. What just brings 2 random people on a rooftop together? Why were you up there first off?
the mystery is more fun.
Man, what? No, I want to know. All right, let's leave it, guys. We're never gonna know why they were up there, but they connected and
It was 4th of July. We were up there watching
fireworks.
Yeah.
Okay, so but still, like, whose roof was it?
That's a mystery.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, but it was somebody's house. You guys were both in this location, went to the rooftop.
It was actually a giant.
It was destiny.
It was a giant corporate building.
In downtown Columbus?
Yeah.
Was the
I'm not. No. That's,
I can't even say that. in VM insurance, whatever. Anyway, so you guys down there, and he owned this company.
Yeah.
And then you said I'm a shooter, and what was your first gig with them?
I don't remember. I think I showed up to a gig that they were doing for a healthcare company. Came in, hung out for a little bit, and then started working there full time.
Were you just doing BTS that day, or just come and check it out, see what it's like?
Yeah, just hanging out.
Have you ever seen a production like that before that day?
Not the way they did it.
Okay. What was so different the way they did it? It was actually professionally done, set up well. Each person had a role.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, up until that point, I've mostly been free, like just solo and everything.
Okay.
So.
Well, awesome. And now, what are your big plans? Where's your future in this? Where do you see this going, man? Because I know you said you just want to work in smaller stuff and DPing and stuff. Do you see yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I like what I do. I'm plenty busy enough.
Mm-hmm. Do you see yourself working on a big production if the opportunity shows itself?
If it comes up, maybe.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I'm super chill about stuff. Most people are like, I want to go do this huge thing, and I'm like, I don't know, I like what I do. It's
yeah,
fine.
no, I'm like he's really like he never seeks it out, but it comes to him. You know what I mean? Like I seek it out and I'll go land a bigger production and I'm like, I don't want to do any of this work.
See, why would I go find a big project
when he's got people
you
like
can
me.
find a big project? Then you just call me.
And then I call him and I sit back.
That's probably what half of my projects are.
So I need to find another big project.
I just white label myself, basically. So half of my projects are just people like Phil
who know him,
who end up getting big projects, and they're like, hey, I need help with a project, and then they call me and I help them do it.
See, guys, that's why it's important to put out 1, good work, 2, be a good person, and 3, keep your word. You know what I mean? Like every time he said he was going to do something, he did it. 1. Every time he gave me something, it was exactly what was asked for. 2. And on top of that, he's a good friend. So just be a good person, put good work out, and be a person of your word, and you will get the word. I mean, don't be a shit photographer or videographer. I mean, that's not going to work for you. Don't show up with an iPhone like, ooh, by the way, I rigged it.
Did you try it?
Oh, yeah, it all fits. So we're going to be doing a video with this later, and you guys will see something kind of
He just
funny.
said, don't go shoot with your iPhone, but guess what he's about to do?
Yeah, you guys, I'll make it worth your time. We'll do a whole podcast about it. But, dude, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Guys, that's the end of the podcast. Keep on tuning back. Mike, you're always invited. I don't know if you want to be a steady guest or a steady co-host or a
You can drive to me next time.
interim we'll figure something out. We could Zoom call in, just make sure the audio is set nice. I don't know what this audio sounds like right now, but these shows are going to be sponsored by Procam. I have to throw that in there after the email I just got today. And
You still didn't tell me about whatever that was.
We'll get there. And I have an idea that this might be sounding a little bit better next time. So guys,
That's good.
stay tuned. And yeah, that's the podcast, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
All right, we're gonna cut before that. Definitely cut before that.